My name's Jack Harris. I run a community interest company called Grown Ops. We work across the city delivering green and growing projects in collaboration with charities, universities, the college, the local authority, and loads of businesses, and just the broader community in Nottingham.
What's the most impactful change you've seen in your field and what made it successful?
I think the local authorities and the councils, and even larger stakeholders like the college and educational providers, really seeing the value in working with community groups.
Yeah.
So let's say the garden's here, rather than us just coming in high vis and doing the menial work of keeping a nice green space.
Yeah.
They understand that working with local community-based groups, you get all that extra social value and you get really magical things come from that that's much broader than just looking after gardens, which I think is now trickling around loads of public space management schemes and how we look after these public spaces that are shared and used by varieties of people. But yeah, so that's been a really big one, I would say.
Yeah. What's a common misconception people have about sustainability or your work in general?
A misconception is the word sustainability. People just think whether something is green or not green, but the actual word sustainability, it means it cannot be sustained. Yeah. So it's not like, oh, maybe we'll think about doing something else. It is like, if we carry on doing things in that way, there will come a point where we no longer can. So we ultimately have to address things that are unsustainable because we will not be able to sustain them. So like that is the literal meaning we sort of forget when we talk about sustainability.
What initially inspired you to get involved with sustainability?
When I went to Australia, someone asked me, they had this lovely house with a little farm and garden in the back, and she asked me to get some basil. And then I went to the garden and I didn't know what basil was. As in, like, I couldn't find it or identify it, and I was like a bit nervous and a bit embarrassed, and I had to go and ask her for her to show me what basil looked like. And then she showed me around her garden, and from that point I had like a much broader and keen interest in gardening, food growing, and all of those things.
What's a product of yours that you're most proud of and why?
We run a project called Wild About Sneinton. We transform neglected and underloved spaces in Sneinton into vibrant, ecological, community-driven spaces across Sneinton to make it greener and just really engage with people in the community. And we've come a long way in our first year, working with hundreds and hundreds of people, making lots of spaces. And I think it's really impactful, and all the spaces are very, very beautiful. So we're really happy with that.
One last question. I heard that you're doing a volunteer system tomorrow.
Yes.
What is that for? What's the reward for that for the other people? What's that for you?
The volunteer session tomorrow, we're working with Experian. We facilitate corporate volunteer sessions for them in the city. And whilst we don't rely on volunteers to do the work we do, we take every opportunity to engage a broad demographic in our public green spaces. So there's a sense of shared ownership and collaborative working, pride, and we feel like a deeper connection with the spaces that we live around and use on a daily basis. So whenever we can engage with groups, whether they're creatives, corporates, or within education or whatever, we take the opportunity because it always leads to us having a broader sense of self and belonging in the places we live and call home.
Absolutely.